and welcome to our second commentary of a thing we've done before and now talking about, which is Tram.
It's true. We are going to be doing a commentary for Tram,
wherein we will be talking about the making of Tram.
Where people were supposed to be in, but weren't allowed to be in it.
These guys right here.
Because of legal regulations.
I made this.
It's a cock line.
Enjoy.
Tram.
This is John.
This is Matt.
This is Pat.
This is Robert.
This is Helldozer.
And she's just a biker chick we picked up in the parking lot. It's Kevin Keeley and Melissa Smith.
Flirtfest 2010.
Yep, that's right. We call this whole sequence Flirtfest 2010 because in real life it went for about 35 minutes of Melissa giggling like a schoolgirl over her massive, massive crush on Kevin, who is now her boyfriend.
Funny thing about this is I was supposed to be Kevin Keeley.
That would have been
Yes.
probably
Super funny story is I was actually born a woman.
The love story setting would have changed.
Yeah. And they storm off. Alex Cote, she's Canadian and pretty. There she goes. Distracted by things, and now she's got flight cards.
Brittany Cram is here too. She's never she's around.
She's doing.
running.
So
Fast as you can. Get it done.
Brittany's apparently inspired by kittens.
This is on the
Running!
catwalks.
Doc!
This shot right here was taken, or the shot before was taken on the catwalks.
This one was
Yeah.
too, actually. We actually lifted a tram up into the catwalks at the Great Movie Ride for this little bit of dialogue between me and Erica that's establishing the plot, and nobody can hear it because we're talking over it. But there's a documentary about corn
I think
playing
that's
in
what
Fantasia.
commentaries are all about.
And there's Ryan Frostek in the old girl's costume.
Well, no, it's all man except for the bow.
Well,
Well,
there
that
was
can be
no
said about
difference
That's what she
between the...
said.
Yeah, the bow was the thing.
Yeah.
And here's Brittany Cram right there.
Ah.
You know what's a good
Ah.
skit? And Brittany says, you know what, I'll be in that.
So the whole... Matt and I had been talking about doing Tram for about 3.5 years in various forms. But we could never quite figure out why the striker character was going to leave in the first place, leading to the whole conflict of the piece. And then one night in May of 2010, I got a phone call that my transfer to Kilimanjaro Safaris had come in, and I was leaving in 2 weeks. That night, I went over to Matt's, and we basically started writing Tram. And
Then we asked everyone we possibly knew, even
And that
Chris
guy.
Bell, to be in this movie.
So, what was your original inspiration? Is this like a spoof on any particular movie, Airplane?
nope.
No?
No,
this is all original.
It's got a little bit of Unbreakable in it,
Okay,
mixed with
I can
just
see.
a little bit of Dangerous Liaisons,
right.
and just
And a
a,
whole hell of a lot of sound and music.
and
Yes.
a smidge of Nanny McPhee returns.
Right.
I love the music here.
That Joseph Rutherford driving that tram at that
Yeah.
point.
And
And stand in for Chris Bell.
if I'm not mistaken, this was actually the made from a novel based on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gilligan's
Push.
Island.
Yeah,
Push by Sapphire.
Yeah.
It was Airplane, the movie.
Oh
Right.
yeah, that thing.
The Great Gatsby.
Right.
I remember that.
So, in
James.
case you hadn't pieced it together, I'm the striker character, and Erica is the Julie Haggerty character, and Chris Bell is sort of the.
Wow, this is probably really
It's a
loud.
very loud scene, which is kind of the joke. In Airplane, he's telling his sob story to like 4 subsequent seatmates who all wind up killing themselves. Instead, it's just me talking to James for 8 minutes on the Great Movie Ride, which is really, really loud.
Because the Great Movie Ride is really loud. Also, there's aliens.
Everyone in the background is afraid except me.
And now no one's sitting behind you.
And yes.
Yeah.
The vehicle
That
becomes
is loud.
strangely populated throughout the course of this 22-minute journey into the movies.
There's
There
no
goes Tarzan.
certain guests that are on this tram.
George of the Jungle.
No, it's
Georgia.
not George of the Jungle.
Actually,
Actually,
it's Tarzan.
This is the
Red
jungle
block
home
light.
of Tarzan.
Alright, so here's where Chris Bell dies.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, by the way, this part's coming up.
And then he falls down. And the vehicle runs the block light. Oh, noes.
Oh, no. Matt Cram.
Fortunately, somebody had the wherewithal to call Matt.
Yeah, which
It was
isn't
GMR
really
38.
smart. Don't call me. I'm busy slacking off.
It'd take the heck of a week to stop pounding energy
Oh.
drinks and then throwing the empty cans at Melissa Smith, who's standing just outside of camera range.
I throw a lot
Back
of
in the
things at
catwalks.
her.
You're
On
not
the
the only one,
catwalks.
but and
Do your little turn on those
We
catwalks.
are.
Talking as fast as I can.
And continuing to move. And I love
This
that
is
Eric.
actually what they'd sound like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ginesco and Sean Cumberland.
I love that Erica's first inclination when everything goes to hell is to find out if the two gentlemen from the 1920s are doctors.
Well, you know, if anybody needs a bloodletting, they've got the leeches for it.
Fortunately, she has a tiny little translator.
That's one of the best performances in the whole thing is Julie as the trend.
By the way, that's not in the script. They both improvised the exact same line at the exact same time.
In the exact same inflection
Yes.
and inclination. It was craziness.
If you look at the back of the wall there, the management setup actually makes sense for the movie. That's the attention to detail we pretend to have.
I remember.
Prepackaged tri-buffered aspirin.
I wasted a lot of aspirin that day.
Yes, he did.
Nobody cared.
Not a person. Heather, what do you think?
Also, if you notice, the vehicles on the track are 69, 123, and 711.
This is actually the Star Tours
Sequence.
Yes.
sequence, right?
That's the sequence
Yeah,
of operations
that's how you
Star
sequence.
Tours.
I-
That's how you launch the simulators.
And we got Rich for two reasons. One, Rich Cullen is awesome, and two, he kind of looks like Leslie Nielsen.
And
I'm pretty
three,
sure
he's
he
really
is Leslie Nielsen.
Yes.
Spin effect.
Which was originally not going to be
Fabulous.
Brett Kramer. We were going to use another cast member whose last name is Kramer, but she was in the process of being terminated
We're falling down a lot.
for and there's Scott Leggett.
Scott Leggett.
Scott Leggett
Brilliant
playing
performance.
the token gay character. Quiet You, which every time I see Brett Kramer, which is not that often anymore because he's not my manager anymore, but he does say Quiet You.
You know what happens every time I see Obama? Nothing, because I never see it.
Never seen it.
Well, it's
Not
truth
a
fact.
thing. Oh, boo.
Book and Annie.
Just carries corn.
He does.
He always has
All
corn.
kinds of corns. A
Is that
variety
corn in
of
your
corn.
pocket, or are you happy to see me? Well, actually, it's corn.
When it's Book, it's corn.
He has corn syrup.
He also carries around soup and pictures from the movie Monster House, as evidenced in the epic Oh Look production, Where's Book? He pointed at the screen as though you can all see that.
Oh, I see your proficiencies.
It's an entirely different
Right,
ride.
all together.
Sobriety, we kissed you goodbye so long ago.
Oh, that's Brett Kramer reading his lines.
With his finger on the script so he doesn't lose his place.
Yes.
Now, the rubber band around that radio was not something we added to make the ride look ghetto. The ride is actually that ghetto.
It's
The
very
backs are
ghetto.
held on the Nextel radios by rubber bands.
And that's if your radio has a back and not just
Yes.
the rubber band
Or
supporting
in fact, you
the
actually have
batteries.
a radio.
Right. Sometimes you just let your voice carry.
And remember earlier when Rich was going into the ridiculously complicated way to get a Star Tours ride vehicle moving? Listen to this, because this is how you get a great movie ride vehicle moving. There are 11 steps. Whereas you just, push one button and go. Quiet You. Jessica Crystal cameo.
You have to.
What?
What?
We love that one. We're sorry. We all went silent for a while waiting for that what.
And she hasn't been in the movie at all until this point. She's freaking out.
Who is that?
I think her name is...
And
That's Helldoser's cousin.
here
Linda
comes
Owen.
his significant punch.
It was a running gag for a while in every Icon skit we made that Matt Collins had to get punched in the face.
Well, it's
and then we
simple to
just started
say
doing
I
it in
punch
real
him in the
life.
face from time to time.
Well, and it was in everything we'd done previously, it was done by the same person who, again, at that point, no longer had a job with the company. So we brought in Linda, which was honestly probably funnier. Pour every available light into that scene, which in Airplane means they literally pour a whole bunch of lamps out of a dump truck.
But we had flashlights.
Didn't have a dump truck or lamps, so we just throw a whole bunch of flashlights. And Matt huffs us up.
Which would probably kill me.
Yeah, probably. That's the cleaning solvent used to clean the guns. Which this is probably the first GMR skit that didn't actually have anything to do with gangsters or bandits. Or
Yeah.
violence.
That's true.
Probably also the first thing ever shot in finale.
Yeah, that's true. We totally skipped the whole ride to film. We'll have our main scene in finale.
And this is the scene that I'm surprised was allowed to stay in the final cut.
Oh, I didn't get this stuff approved. I just did it.
Well, but Brett was standing next to you and reciting the lines. He could have said...
He was just happy.
And yes, Rich is no longer on the vehicle.
He's a magical man.
He's a ninja.
Yes.
Rich Cullen.
Rich.
Yes.
He's Rich
He is
Cullen.
everywhere and nowhere, for he
That's
is
a close
rich.
up.
Here I take an awkwardly long time to put my hat on because I'm being pensive about all of the
No one
events of the
cares
last
that you're in
22
a
minutes.
Animal Kingdom Lodge costume.
No.
It's not all the costume that
It is, right?
you said.
Half of it I am.
Yeah. He's in.
No, there were a couple scenes where I had the wrong costume because they were on the same rack.
So go back and watch it again and point those out to yourself.
Yes.
And amuse absolutely no one but yourself.
There's Jose Almeida waving everyone out that got sick. Although we never really established whether it was the churros or the premium bars that got them sick. Elaborate handshake,
Oh, Ryan
Frosting.
Frosting's still there.
fireworks. Again, a nod to the story of Star Tours.
Oh.
And there's Rich again.
And then at the end
And there's
here,
John.
we
Yeah,
had
there I
Brian
am.
who needed to be in it, even though they couldn't be, so we put him in it anyways.
And
Sure.
same with Robert.
Yep, Robert's coming up.
And apparently they hated me so much they
Florida.
had to ghost me out.
It was a rule, apparently.
Tram!
Yeah, it's the movie we just watched.
And that's the end of the skit.